We're talking about the brand new image of the Superman suit that was just released by James Gunn. This is Talk Punch. Thank you so much to both our audio podcast listeners and our YouTube viewers for joining us. I am Brody, joined by Tudong Dylan.
Hey!
And the Jimmy Olsen of these Friends of Superman, Charlie Hickman.
Let's hope it's not the Snyder Cut Jimmy Olsen. Appreciate it, though.
I think. Yeah, he did.
Quickly and unceremoniously.
He was like in the CIA or something. He wasn't even a photographer.
Well, if you like what you hear and you want more of us, we do have a Patreon where you can get exclusive content about topics that you will not hear on this main channel. You can find more information about that in the description below. And if you haven't already, we'd love it. Subscribe to hit that notification bell so you can come back here every Wednesday to hang out with us and have some fun. And fun it's going to be because this is our podcast. Every month we have a podcast where we just kind of chat about something. We're going to go over what we're watching, may do some mailbag questions. It's going to be fun because we like hanging out. We're friends, like talking. We do a lot of the structured stuff. Those are great. Sometimes hang out.
Heck yeah.
All right. Well, Superman. So James Gunn just released this image. There it is. This image of the brand new Superman. What's this guy's
name?
Superman.
Oh, Clark Kent.
Clark Kent. That's who it is. Clark Kent. So he just released this on his social media. I don't know because there's a lot of them. So, just gut reaction, guys. What are your thoughts on this Superman suit? Like it? Tudong?
David Corenswet, right?
Sure.
Hey,
that sounds right.
I like the picture because it looks like some sort of a catastrophe is happening in the background, and he is just like, I was just out. My suit's not even clean. And now I get to go back at fine. Here we go.
Yeah,
and you barely get
to
see that.
Casually putting on his boots while
he's like, "Yep, this again." Big blast from the sky, sky beam again. I couldn't even wait 5 minutes.
Is it just me? Like the first time I saw this, the whole thing kind of looked like an AI photo.
Yeah.
No, I guess everything was shot in camera. So
I'm not saying it is an AI photo. I'm just saying like the composition and the way that the suit looks. It looks like someone typed into an AI photo generator, like moody Superman getting ready for first day of school, or something. It's like
I could see that.
You know, nevertheless. I as far as the suit goes, like I know like there, some people have strong opinions about trunks or no trunks, collars, no collars. I remember when they first showed the Pattinson suit for Batman, I was a little, and I ended up loving that. So
I really liked it.
Yeah,
I don't know. I'll kind of withhold a little bit of judgment on that. Is he going to be a moody Superman? Are we going to get another gloomy, moody Superman?
I don't think so.
He looks very gloomy and moody in this photo.
I'm gonna say it doesn't look like he's wearing like tights, like Christopher Reeve tights. It doesn't look like it looks a bit thicker. Looks like there's some substance to it as opposed to just in tight suit.
But
especially
also,
the top.
And zoom in a little bit. I was looking at it. It does look a little bit thicker than like tights, but it also doesn't look as thick as like Henry Cavill's suit. Like you can see there's like bunching up of fabric. Like this is not like a rubber suit. It is fabric. Like he can move and it's gonna bend. Which I think is interesting. It's not armor.
Have you seen some of?
Yeah.
Have you seen some of his workout photos? Because he's got like the full we'll call it the weight training regimen. You could perhaps some HGH fueled enhancements, but certainly working his way to the part.
Nah, I think because this came from his trainer's Instagram. I mean, if this is like all you're doing, and you've got a full-time trainer that's helping you with this, and you eat nothing but protein, you're eating 6,000, 8,000 grams of protein a day, you can get. But it is impressive.
Bro, you already look like this, bro. This is exactly what you look like, just with a beard.
He's approaching Brody levels right here. I personally eat about 10,000 grams of protein a day, so he's got a little bit of catching up with me. But
a little bit of catching
he
up.
Looks great. I think he looks great.
Yeah, you're like, he's getting there.
I did grab this. I was like, holy smokes, look at those biceps.
Yeah.
I mean, Henry Cavill was a big buff guy.
Yeah, it's a big set of muscles to fill, for sure.
It is. All right, so let's talk some specifics. Okay, I want to talk about the collar. What do you guys think of the high collar? If you remember, Henry Cavill's came down a little bit where you could see his chest hair. You're not seeing any chest hair on this guy.
I would prefer it with like this as opposed to like cut too low. Don't want a low cut.
I want a deep V. I want a deep V. We've had low collar, high collar. We haven't had Superman with a real revealing deep V, like some kind of Superman medallion just hanging out, chest hair flowing. No, like the Batsuit had the big collar too. Like, so is this just like a new? They're kind of going like the new stuff. Like, this ain't your grandpa's suit.
I think the Batsuit was more around the back as more of an armor. This is just like a turtleneck right now. Just like can't see much. Doing that. I'm doing this, but you can't see it. Like,
Brody, you don't have a neck, man. You've worked hard in the gym to make sure you don't have a neck.
Don't have a neck or a chin.
You've earned it.
So for me, the collar, I'm actually not a fan of the collar. Not a fan of the collar in the comics or looking at this. I would rather it come down a little. And I think I'm not as big a fan of it because I think that if you're Clark Kent wearing clothes, it would be much harder to hide your Superman suit if it's coming halfway up your neck.
That's why Clark's got to wear all those collared shirts with ties.
Yeah, that's right.
Nestled all the way up to the chin.
You have to wear a collared shirt every single day?
Oh, yeah.
What is that?
That's the price you pay for being Superman with it. Well, he can wear a lot of turtlenecks. Clark Kent loves himself some turtlenecks.
Clark Kent loves turtlenecks.
If Clark Kent just wears turtlenecks the whole movie.
Just rocking turtlenecks throughout the whole movie. Smoking a pipe, rocking a turtleneck.
Yeah.
No one's gonna suspect he's Superman. Like this guy.
No one would.
Turtleneck guy? Superman? What? That guy's wearing a turtleneck. It's like 95 degrees in the summer. Oh. I'm kind of with you. I don't know. Like maybe it would look better standing up, but I'm a little less excited about the collar.
Tudong, what do you think about the collar?
I liked the collar. I mean, yeah, I liked it. I as long as it doesn't come up like too much, you can't exactly see how high it comes up, and as long as it doesn't like curl over like an actual turtleneck, like I don't mind it. I think it's cool. Like it's. I don't like too much of like the chest showing out. I want to see that. I want to see that Superman shield, that crest right there, crest on the chest. I don't know. I'd like to see it in action. It looks interesting. Yeah. It looks like it's a different kind of material that they are working with this, and I think that's interesting. And again, I just love his whole like doing this again. He looks like he just came back from some sort of a battle, like he got blasted with something else like right in his chest, and he's like, ugh. I'm curious if like they're doing it on purpose or if because I mean like things are happening like right behind him and he doesn't seem in a rush. And
it doesn't seem in a rush.
he usually seems like he's in a rush. So I'm curious about that. I'd like to see, like, especially the shirt and the what it. I can't tell if he has on trunks or not. You can't see the trunks.
I think there's
Okay.
trunks. I'm
Yeah,
pretty sure there's
before we-
trunks.
Before
Makes
we
sense.
get to the trunks, I do, because you did mention the shield. I'd like to chat about the shield. What
Yeah.
are you guys' thoughts on this shield? You like it?
I mean, I could get used to it. It's certainly different than what we like the usual kind of shield. They always got to change stuff like this.
It's less
Gotta
curly.
put their mark on it. Yeah, it's less S-like.
It's very Kingdom Come.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. If it was black instead of yellow right there, that'd be very Kingdom Come. What do you
Charlie?
think? What do you think? Yeah, Charlie.
Like I like the design. Fine. It's very muted. Like the colors are very muted. I'm just kind of rooting for like a more heroic, less gloomy Superman. Is kind of like my hope for this. And this photo is like giving me kind of like that opposite feeling. He looks like that's like maybe the least heroic face a hero has ever made, and the suit is like looks like a little combination of like denim and like just broken dreams. It's like it's I don't know. Just it doesn't. It's not screaming like bright colors and the juxtaposition of. You know, I like the juxtaposition of Superman versus Batman, like the bright colors versus the Dark Knight. I like a bright red and I'm a sucker for it. Like that's kind of what I'm hoping for from this is that it's a little bit more. I don't know, brighter than the Snyder, and that probably is an unpopular take. I know you're a big Man of Steel guy, Brody, and not that it's a bad movie, but it just was like a very different like Superman than the one that I kind of want to see on the screen.
Sure.
And that's okay. That's okay. Different flavors, different folk. But I hope that this isn't that, and this shield here is very understated.
Maybe it's because he got blasted with something, though. Maybe it's just understated because he got blasted. Like if you look,
gotta wipe the dirt off, you know.
Wipe the dirt off. There you go.
Yeah,
Maybe he'll be a kind of Superman that, like, instead of like if somebody throws like a tanker truck at him, instead of him being like, "Well, you just missed. You just dodged this, and it just hit this building and killed about 100 people, but you missed me." Instead, he's like the kind who will catch it and be like, "No, the people." Don't kill him. I actually care.
I like the people.
I like him. I like
Yeah,
him.
I wonder if we're losing some of the color just because he looks like he's kind of battled.
Could be.
He looks dirty. He looks like he got blasted because if you look at his legs, like his
They're
legs
brighter
are pretty blue.
And
the boots don't look dirty.
His boots are
they're
pretty
red.
bright red. And you can see some hints of some pretty bright yellow in there. I think it's brighter than anything that was in the Snyder.
Look, I'm not saying that I don't like it. I'm not saying that this. I'm just sharing concern. I'm on the record, so that if it comes out and he is indeed a moody Superman and kind of subdued colors, that you'll just know in your heart that I'm a little bit disappointed. a little piece of my childhood is once again dying on the screen.
I think it'll be bright. Yeah,
Does the cape have a collar too?
No, the cape doesn't. Cape looks like it's just attached to his shoulders and then just goes back. It's not coming up. It's just the blue that's coming all the way around.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I kind of like the emblem. It is different. I love the Kingdom Come emblem, and so to kind of get a mix of the classic and the Kingdom Come, it's also less obviously S, which if it's coming from Krypton, it's it could be just more of a shape than S.
Little zigzags.
Sure, but I think it's good. I think it's a nice size. I like the size of it. It's
good.
like nice and big. I
Yeah.
love it. Does so the whole
love a nice big S.
The whole suit really reminds me of the New 52 with obviously the S is different, but the New 52 had the high collar, it had the cape that really look like it attached the same way. It's got a lot of these
Yeah.
same like segmented like design things.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So when I saw it, I was like, oh, it looks like New 50. With the exception, and this is really what I'm looking forward to talking. Let's get a zoom in right here, right on
Bro.
his crotch. He is wearing red trunks and has a yellow
Nice.
belt.
It's good.
Right in here, okay, right there, you can see red. We haven't had red trunks in a long time. I think
Yeah.
Brandon Routh had the red trunks.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are you guys pro trunk? You guys like the red trunks, or are you more like it should be more of a balance?
I'll say this. It seemed like with Brandon Routh, it seemed like he had like those low-rise trunks. Elongated the waist a little bit too much, as
Yeah,
far as
I
I was
agree.
concerned. That doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to mean like he needs to look like he's wearing a cloth diaper. But I mean, it should be. It should go. Is all I'm saying. It should go. It looks interesting. We're just gonna have to get a close up of that crotch.
Yeah, I did not like the way that the Brandon Routh suit looked on him.
Yeah, it
Is
just
that-
didn't
is
look like
that
it fit him well.
Blasphemous, bro. Did you like that a lot?
No, I always thought trunk was weird on that one. They were kind of like low rise. They didn't high enough. Maybe
Yeah.
the belt wasn't as pronounced. But then
I
for
mean,
Man of Steel and the Snyderverse, we got no trunks.
No trunks.
Yeah, it's like he was naked. Like it's not. You can't have a naked Superman. Come on. It's either like 3 or 4 layers. You can't just have 1 layer. Preposterous.
I'm excited for
This one-
trunks. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
yeah.
seeing the trunks. I grew up reading Superman in the 80s and 90s, and he had trunks. So
Yeah.
that's kind of like in my brain. That's sort of the classic Superman is with the trunks.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see, right? Like I don't know. I hope it looks good. I hope it doesn't look silly.
Yeah.
But I saw this picture and I was like, oh, he's wearing trunks.
Do you wish Batman wore trunks and more of his bat suit designs? Do you miss the bat trunks?
It's
Absolutely.
I think Batman is a tougher live action sell. Like Batman, the armor really works well for Batman in live action.
Yeah.
Hey, armored trunks, baby.
The bodysuit.
You gotta protect the jewels.
The bodysuit on Batman in live action, you get a bit Adam Westy.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Like,
true.
I will say about the trunks, if you just ask me, no with no context, Superman trunk or no trunk, and I probably would just instinctively say no trunks, and not because I don't think that trunks could be cool, but like I'm skeptical that it can be pulled off the right way, if that makes sense. Like I like it in a comic book where you're kind of just designing it like perfectly or flawlessly with pen to paper. Like I think you can really pull it off really nicely. And then I think there's a lot of things that really work well in the pages of a comic book that don't necessarily work as well when you start kind of putting them in real life. So hopefully it looks really cool and it doesn't look like he's wearing, just underwear or a big diaper. I mean, I like your design. See, this like if they should hire you on the design team. Like it's high up off the thigh. You gotta like that.
Yeah.
We want a nice bikini cut. We
Yes.
nice
Yep, exactly.
and firm to the curvatures of the thighs. I think is I don't know. I want to see it. I want to see it. I'm not gonna I'm not angry that there's trunks. I'm just curious about it.
I agree.
So I think the last thing I wanted to just chat about a little bit, this thing in the background. Do we think, I've heard speculations, Brainiac? Thoughts on a
That's
Brainiac ship?
So not a giant jellyfish then?
I don't think it's a giant jelly. It's definitely not like a Zod type person.
Yeah, that's true.
It's definitely like something big. You can see, how big it is at the window. This shot right here, it's hovering above the city. It's large.
I wonder if like the what's coming out of it is like it's propellant or if it's actually shooting something.
Oh, that's a good call. Which way is it going?
Yeah.
This way?
Is it like flying? Is it like
Or is it going
shooting
that way?
down?
Oh, I hadn't even thought of. I just assumed it was shooting down onto the city, but maybe it's leaving. Very
That's true.
good observation.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Thank you. Thank you. He doesn't seem overly like he doesn't seem like he's like, what? They shot something. I can't believe. He's like, it's just going by. Maybe I'll like kind of give it a helping hand. Get out of here or something. But it doesn't look like, I mean, I don't know. See, it looks kind of like it's being propelled forward, right?
Sure.
But it also could look like it's shooting as well. That's an interesting thing. That's
Yeah,
the
I
fact
don't
that
know.
he's
I don't know. When I first saw it, my first thought was Brainy, because I know that James Gunn has talked about different stories and stuff like that, and brought up some Brainiacs. So I just kind of assumed, and we haven't seen Brainiac live action. We always go either Lex Luthor or Zod.
Or Zod, yeah. He keeps screwing up Zod almost as much as they screw up Lex Luthor.
What about Solaris?
I didn't think of that.
People online think it might be a thing.
Really? Oh, I'll have to look that up. I saw a spaceship and I automatically went to Brainiac, but maybe I'm wrong. I mean, Brainiac,
did too.
Normally Brainiac ship is a giant skull thing too. So,
yeah.
We'll see how James Gunn kind of designs stuff.
It'll be interesting. And
yeah.
Where's Nathan Fillion in the picture? How come we couldn't get just like him peeking over the side or something?
We need our Guy Gardner.
Like, hello.
Cannot believe he's playing Guy freaking Gardner.
Just be happy he's in it. Come on, good old Nathan.
We do get these are Luthor Towers, because it looks like it's the two L's up down.
Oh yeah.
Those are Luthor Towers. I was trying to zoom in. It's tough because we don't have a really high res. I was trying to zoom in.
Yeah.
If one of these, like, is that the Daily Planet? Is this the Daily Planet? I was trying to see if that would be in there. It's really hard to tell. But I think for sure this is going to be the Luthor Tower.
Yeah.
Luthor Corp.
Clark Kent must have a really large apartment. That's his apartment.
Windows?
I mean, yeah, oh yeah, come on.
And he's high up. That's a penthouse.
Gotta be. Fly out at a moment's notice. Hey, Clark Kent rocking turtlenecks. That boy's got a nice Upper East Side kind of apartment there for sure. Apartment of solitude.
Yes. Wow, he's just a reporter. I didn't know reporters could make so much money, even Pulitzer Prize reporters. I don't think Clark Kent ever done that.
So just based on this picture, if you had to grade this suit, maybe rate it 1 out of 10, what do you give it? I'm gonna put you on the spot. I didn't even tell you guys I was gonna.
That's true. You did.
Tudong. What do you give it?
All right. I like it. I like the neck. I like the shield. I like the colors. It's muted where it seems like he got blasted with something. The rest seems pretty good. He's got with the close up on the crotch, which I always appreciate. He's got his trunks. I'd give it from what I can see. I'd give it a 7.5 to 8. I like it. It's interesting. It's not spandex. It's not armor or like a plastic, like the Henry Cavill one, whatever. It looked like plastic. I like it. It looks interesting, and I can't wait to see it in motion. I'm giving it benefit of the doubt because it's not Zack Snyder.
Charlie, what do you give it?
I'm giving it a flexible 6.
Ooh.
And And so, like, really, it's like I feel like I don't have enough information to give like a real rating. I want to see him stand up.
Yeah.
I want to see it in different lighting, and I want to see it in motion. But in this particular dimly lit picture with him kind of crouched over like that, from what I can see, it could be good. It could be terrible. So I'm giving it a little bit more on the positive side because I like there's more that I like than I dislike. So I'm giving it a 6. But that could shoot up all the way, or it could be cratering, depending.
Yeah, let's see that crotch in motion.
I think I'm gonna go with like a 7. I think I agree with both of you. You know, I do want to see it. I want to see it clean, right? Like it's cool that he's all kind of battle damaged, but I would love to see just like a clean image of him standing. You know, I want to see the length of the cape. I want to see the trunks. I want to see the belt. I want to see all these details that you can tell are in there, but are just kind of covered up with the damage or the soot, whatever. You know, you get hints of like how blue it is from the legs and how red it is from the boots. But yeah, I want to see more, but I think it could definitely go up.
Maybe he was cleaning out his he has like a fireplace. He's got to clean it out.
Chimney.
His chimney. He was like, the flue is shut. And it shut right all over him instead. He's like unbelievable. And now this is coming up over here. I gotta put these shoes on. How embarrassing. Maybe no one will notice all this soot.
It's like he just took off his boots and then the ship started attacking. He's like, I gotta put these things back.
Unbelievable.
I just took these off.
Maybe he's taking it off. You know, wait, hold on a second. No, one more possibility. Maybe he's taking his boots off. Maybe the ship is leaving because he got into a fight and the ship was like, all right, we're out of here. And he's like, final.
Do you take your boots off from the top like that? I grabbed from the heel when I've taken something off.
I'll say this. I grabbed from the heel too, but I'm not Superman. If I was Superman, I would blow my boots off with my super breath. I'd be like,
It's true.
I don't even need to touch these things.
That's a very
But yeah, you're right. That's a good point. That's a good point. He's probably not taking them off.
All right. So overall, we like this. We're looking forward to seeing more, and maybe we'll talk about this as they start releasing pictures.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and move on to what we are watching, because it's fun to talk about the things that we watch. Charlie, what have you been watching lately?
Well, you know, Brode, I'm glad you asked because I always like sharing with you guys good television that you'll never watch. And so
that's not true. I've watched a number of your shows.
All right. Well, if I may be so bold as to suggest a few that I'm confident you'll never see, if you have Hulu, and you know, I know you guys do, but those other people out there, check out a little show called Extraordinary. I've talked to you guys about this a little bit. The idea behind it is that superpowers are just everyone kind of gets them, and our main character, she does not have them, and it's really kind of like a coming of age friend story about people in their 20s kind of figuring out their life way. It just happens to be set against the backdrop of a bunch of superpowers, and it's very funny. It is very British, and I highly recommend it. It's very short. It's short episodes. It is compact. The seasons are short. You could knock it out in like no time, lickety split.
Love it.
But so who is it for? You know, if you like a little bit of like that Fleabag sense of humor, that kind of British dry sense of humor, and you like superhero Easter eggs all over the place, this is for you. I like it quite a bit. Now, if you have access to Netflix, I have been rewatching one of my favorite Netflix shows just because I miss it. And that is the Santa Clarita Diet featuring. We talked about Superman. Skylar Gisondo, who's going to be the new Jimmy Olsen. He is fantastic. He's hilarious. Check out Santa Clarita Diet. He is just amazing in it. The whole thing is really well done. Very funny. Zombie story. Graphic. Nathan Fillion is also in that. So we get two Superman cast members in a TV show together. So I highly recommend that if you got Netflix. And maybe you're sitting here. Riddler in the Santa Clarita Diet? No, it's a show about zombies.
Regular. Is he a regular?
Oh, regular. I see the Riddler. I think. Like we're having different conversations here. That was Jim Carrey in Batman Forever that we watched. No, yeah, he has a story arc, and then he disappears, and then he comes back unexpectedly. And I've already said too much, but when he comes back, it is the absolute best.
Of course,
I will also say that if you have access to HBO or I guess Max, Tokyo Vice, very good show.
What are all these shows?
It is the second season.
Never talked about these shows before.
He's talked about the Santa Clarita Diet. He did. I remember him saying that.
You said that you talked about Extraordinary, and I don't remember you ever talking about Extraordinary.
Not on an episode, but just in one of our pre-productions. Doesn't matter. It's a good show. You should definitely watch it. Remember, there's a guy. No. All right, I'm not here to jog your memory. The second season of Tokyo Vice came out recently. It is a kind of like the story of like the Yakuza and a journalist who's working in Japan to try to kind of take it, I try not to spoil, but trying to investigate it, and it's a really intriguing backdrop, a lot of interesting tension, and really great acting. We've talked a little bit about shows that make you really watch them instead of kind of just having background. This one kind of forces you because there's a lot of subtitles, because there's a lot of it is got a lot of Japanese dialogue, so you can't look at the phone too long while you watch it. But man, the acting is really fantastic, and it's like really well shot. It's like really pretty. And really kind of a cool show, and probably a little under talked about. So watch it, check it out. You'll thank me. Tokyo Vice.
Is that still going? I see it's 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Is it done?
No, it's still going. So the second, assuming that especially if you start watching it, it hasn't been I think officially renewed for a season 3 as far as I know, but season 2 like very recently came out. So. Like February, March of this year.
Wow.
So
cool.
Really good show. Like assuming you like crime drama,
investigations stuff. And crime.
Yeah. But like it's good, really good cast. My goodness. So like really, really well acted.
Either of you guys seen the new Shogun?
Oh man, it's on my list.
It's on my list too. I've heard a lot of good.
Have you guys seen the original version or read the book?
That one I have not, and it is not on any of my lists. But have you watched the show, D?
I haven't seen the new one yet, but I mean, I've seen the original Richard Chamberlain Toshiro Mifune version, and I read the book. Both were fantastic. Now this, I have heard really good things about. A lot of people who have seen it have been saying some good things. I haven't seen it yet, but like I said, it's definitely on the list. It's on it's on Hulu, right?
I think that's a Hulu one.
Yeah.
I think it's even on Disney Plus. I think a lot of the Hulu stuff is popping up on Disney Plus. So even if you don't have
merging, they're officially merged.
Yeah, so you can see they have like a whole little tab at so you can see like FX stuff there. So like you can watch The Bear and other things on through Disney Plus now.
I watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia on that.
No. What are you guys talking about? I'm looking at Disney Plus right now. I don't see any of it.
It's been there. Type in Shogun.
They merged them, bro. They merged the apps, so there's just one app now. Maybe you just don't have Hulu.
I have Hulu.
While you're looking that up,
does not show up. Shogun does not. When I search,
look up It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I'm telling you, it's there.
I haven't seen any of it.
While you're looking that up, the last thing because I really actually am excited to talk to you guys about this one, X-Men '97.
Oh, so yes.
Yeah.
So I we haven't talked a lot about it together. I'd like to talk about that a little bit tonight if you guys have seen. Have you caught up?
I'm not caught up, but it's okay. Keep going. I'd like to listen. It'll motivate me to go see it.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Okay, nothing shows up.
There's spoilers. We can't tell you the spoilers, man. There's
true.
Some. You gotta at least watch episode 5 and then we can talk.
Wait, Dylan, are you not watching X-Men '97?
I said not yet. I'm going to. It's on. It's definitely like the next thing I'm going to watch. Okay, Brode, I want to show you something. Look at this. See that? See the little tab
What?
that says Hulu on it?
What
You see
the
Hulu?
heck?
Right there.
Mine doesn't
right
look
there.
like that.
Hulu.
No.
Maybe you
Mine
gotta
doesn't
update
look
it.
like that.
See that? Look at that. Look at this. Look at this.
What's going on here? Wait, you
It's
have
Always
Planet of the
Sunny
Apes?
right there.
What the heck?
Yeah, I guess so.
I don't
It's
understand.
Sunny. Do you not have Hulu, bro? Because
I do have Hulu, and it's all linked. I sign into Hulu through my Disney Plus. I think.
Yeah. So
but it doesn't have any of the actual Hulu TV.
I mean, I know this is like riveting podcast stuff, but this is even on my old kind of junky iPad. So here we are on Disney Plus, and then I just simply click this little Hulu button over here, and then it's got me all these Hulu shows in my Disney Plus.
Okay, I got to investigate this because I got to figure out what.
You can watch Bob's Burgers now on Disney Plus as well as Hulu. You can't beat Bob's Burgers.
Okay, well,
Boigas.
so I wanted to talk about X-Men 97 because that's what I've been watching. I've been watching it every Wednesday when it comes out.
After our podcast comes out.
Yes. It is so good. I am loving X-Men 97. I hope that it stays this good. I'm sort of concerned. They've talked about like team shakeups. They've talked about maybe moving into like Grant Morrison, Frank Quietly kind of era of X-Men, and I'm not as into that as I am like the Jim Lee kind of era. And they're mixing a bunch of stuff. They already have some stuff that has happened in the Quietly Morrison stuff has already kind of happened. But this show's really good.
Yes.
We may need to do a what other shows should. Because I'm like, what could they do next?
You want a Gargoyles TV show so bad.
I was thinking about it. I was like, what if they brought back Gargoyles and updated the animation? Because it's so nice. Like, it's funny because I see clips from the original show now, and I'm like, ooh, man, I didn't realize how kind of perky that animation. And you look at the stuff now, super neat looking.
It looks nice.
It is so. So that's kind of all I've been watching. I've seen some movies. Finally watched the third Planet of the Apes, War of the Planet. It's in anticipation.
Whoa.
So I have now seen all three of these new ones. Now I complained for a long time because none of them were ever straight. So far, I think my favorite might be number 2. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. One was really good.
Hey, I love a good number 2.
Yeah.
Tudong, what are you watching?
You know what? I'm going to throw you guys for a complete loop. I've been watching a lot of different YouTube channels. I've
Never
never heard of it. I've been watching the CinemaSins and the the Screen Junkies honest trailers. I've been watching those for years, but I mean, then you've got Nerd Explains, which is so completely sarcastic and in many ways shockingly, I don't want to say dark, but it basically takes a movie and it says, how can you actually survive it? And it is, like I said, shockingly sarcastic, and I really appreciate it. I love it every time they come out with some of those things. And I also will admit, I sometimes you'll see like clips of movies, you'll see clips of shows. Now I don't exactly want to go back and revisit it, but like 90210 clips come on, and I'm just like, wow, I remember I was really young when these came on. Like, what is happening here? But I still thought they were really cool. Nobody ever knew the name Dylan or had any kind of. I thought it was such a stupid name. Nobody could ever say it. Nobody could spell it. And then that came out, and people were like, they were like, hey, what's your name? And I'd be like, oh, it's Dylan. And they'd be like, hey, 90210. And I'm like, I'll take it. As opposed
Sure.
to what? What is it? We can't spell it. We can't say it. Got like you got Minty with his. I've watched those for a while too. He'll take like 10 different facts from a movie. I'm really surprised. I've actually been watching more YouTube than I have some of the other things. I need to get onto the whole X-Men '97. That's what I need to
Yes,
catch up
you
on.
do.
That's
You
the
do.
next on my list. The next on my list.
We do need to have like a nice recap debrief once it's all over. So it's almost done.
Mhm.
Yeah, I think it'd be
It
fun
is?
just to do a full like review.
Yeah.
Talk about the whole thing.
How many episodes is it so far?
It's only 8 episodes in the whole season. Is it 8? No,
Oh,
it's
really?
10, right?
It is 10
Ah.
episodes, but there's only 8 out so far. So
Yeah, 8
Ah,
just
the
came out.
18th and the
Okay.
15th, and then it's done.
Oh, now, what do you think about those short like seasons? I don't know. Like, I can watch a season if It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia in about a day because it's a half-hour show with like 10 episodes. And I'm like, that's it? I think the last one was like 8 episodes. And I'm like, come on, give us a bit more. Do you know that
Normally-
they came out with a podcast too? A
Oh,
podcast
really?
on like YouTube? Yeah, where they go through each show, each episode, and talk about it. And the funniest thing is, a lot of them they don't even talk about the episode. They'll talk about all these other kinds of things. Really, if you're a fan of It's Always Sunny, that's a really fun podcast. Even though as soon as they started again, they stopped the podcast. So I'm like, ugh. They're not even
Well, and
halfway through with all of them.
If we're talking about YouTubes that we watch every week, I watch plug our friend of the show, Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
Keeping Up with the
watch them
Kardashians, yeah.
Every single week, they're going through
Yes,
Star
sir.
Trek: The Next Generation. They are, oh man,
Yeah.
I did not realize how poor Star Trek: The Next Generation started. Like the way they talk about some of these episodes, I'm like, I'm glad I didn't watch that one.
Oh,
Yeah, they watch it so you don't have to. It's a
Exactly.
nice. The
Exactly.
sacrifice is not unappreciated. We
So I am
Thank
happy to
you.
plug our friends. Go check out Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
All right, can I ask you guys a question?
You can
So
ask us a
I've
bunch
been-
of questions, Charlie.
So I've been getting back into my lifting weights at night regimen. So I've been watching 90s action films here or there when I'm doing it to kind of help pump me up. And so I popped on Total Recall. I have not watched that in
Yes.
a long
2014
time.
version?
No,
What?
no,
Just checking.
No.
no.
He's saying
just
welcome
the
to the
original.
party, Richter.
Yeah, I haven't. I don't know if I have maybe courage is the wrong word. The gumption to watch the Colin Farrell version. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out. You guys can let me know. But man, I forgot how open ended they kind of leave it. That
Yeah.
maybe like the whole thing didn't really happen, and like it's
Mhm.
kind of like another American Psycho kind of thing.
Sure.
This whole subgenre of movies that maybe aren't really movies and things that happen that don't necessarily have happened. It's a weird subgenre.
Yeah,
It is.
that's true. Very true.
And then the director's like, he's like, yeah, my idea is that it didn't happen. So like that was like his thing.
Hey, really? Was that Paul,
So-
that's Paul Verhoeven, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, why? So I just watched this like really like a movie about a guy whose brain exploded in a chair. like just a normal dude whose like wife's now at home grieving the loss of her husband whose brain is like melted into like a pool.
Yeah.
Well, Isn't
That's how
Total Recall
Schwarzenegger's
based on a
brain-
book?
Yeah. Yeah. Like a story, at least, if not a book, like a story.
Short story. I wonder
Short
what.
story. Yeah.
Wonder how closely that followed that thing in the book too. Or that was just Paul Verhoeven being like, "I'm going to do what I want."
Yeah. I mean, like
It was in development for a long time.
Yeah, very long time. That's why at the
Swayze was
very
supposed to
end
play the
it
main guy.
starts with, yeah, like why didn't he do that? Well, that was a fun movie. That was really violent. That was a shockingly violent. Like he is breaking necks. He's like ripping arms out of their socket.
Oh, yeah.
He sits there like he gets exploded in space. That is one of the most painful kinds of things. And then he actually goes back to normal once the air comes in, and like I guess the air pressure could have saved him. I don't even know if that is possible. If you could sit there and be that far, your eyes are almost bulging out of your head, and then a bunch of air comes in, you're just like, oh, that's okay. In that case, I'm going back to normal. No problem. My eyes almost jumped out of my skull.
I know,
Don't
right?
worry. They're back in and no damage. That's Schwarzenegger for you.
This was like Paul Verhoeven going
Mm.
really far with his like animatronic dummies that he loved to use apparently, because he did the same thing
Yeah.
in RoboCop, you know, with the shooting scene. Just he loved making those dummies and just like destroying them.
The one who was hit by the toxic waste and was just like, whoa,
So-
and then they smash and ruin the car. I was like,
So-
oh.
It was interesting, like to think about like what a Cronenberg version would have been like too, because he was like attached for a long time and was like
Yeah.
developing it. And apparently, like this is a fact. Like I don't know if you guys like reading about. I know you guys do. I'm just, but to the listener out there, if you guys like reading the trivia about movies, there's some really fascinating, really long list of trivia you can find on IMDb and other corners of the web about this movie. But just like he was like kind of like left because he was being too faithful to the source material. And like the studio wanted more of like an Indiana Jones on Mars kind of vibe, and which is not what we got.
So they hired Paul
at any
Verhoeven.
point. So I'm not really sure like what the dissonance was in that relationship, but like it was Cronenberg. Some of his like creations already stayed in the film, but man, can you imagine like if he had just stayed on, like what other kind of weird creatures and things we might have gotten? Ooh.
Yeah, those
Crazy.
like mind-reading mutants. Oh wow! In like, what was his name? Quado. Coming out of the
Quado.
guy's stomach. Oh no!
Quado and Benny
you guys-
and
Oh yeah! Oh, I love Betty. Betty is fantastic. I got 6 kids to feed. What happened? What is it? Number 7? Oh, he's got 5 kids to feed. What happened to number 6? I'm not even married, actually. I thought it was great. Did you guys see that when it came out, like in theaters?
no, I
Did
didn't
your
see
like
it.
parents take you to see that in theaters, Charlie? Is that because my stepdad took me to go see that in theaters, and I was just kind of like, okay, well, all right, we're doing this then. Yeah, oh,
I know-
wow, this is violent.
I saw it pretty young, but not in theater.
I've seen
So there's people with like 3 boobs, Dad, or what is that like is that a real thing? Poor young Dylan had a lot of questions after the.
Yeah, he did.
I have a lot of questions. If they can have 3 boobs, does that mean they can have 3 butts? And then how do they sit down?
It's
How
a
do
fair
you use the
question.
bathroom? I mean, like 3 boobs makes sense. You can like feed more kids, I guess. But you can have
Okay,
3
why not?
boobs
Evolution.
all at the same time. But then everything else then becomes more problematic.
All right. Well, speaking of 3 boobs, Charlie, you have some mailbag questions for us?
3 boobs.
All right, I got a question, and then I've got a challenge. All right, so
Okay.
how many of the 1990 highest grossing movies do you think that you've seen? I'm going to start at number 1, and we're going to go until like we tap out. If you haven't seen it, you're out. And we're
Okay.
just going to go down the list of 1990 movies. I wanted to try this, and we're going to start in the 90s just because I feel like you've seen a lot. Bro, you're shaking your head. You've seen all of these. All right, ready?
Okay.
Ghost,
Yes.
Okay.
Pretty Woman,
Yes.
Yep.
Home Alone,
Yes.
Yep.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles,
Oh,
Yeah.
too many times to count.
Me
Hunt
too.
for Red October,
Yes.
Yes.
the aforementioned Total Recall,
Absolutely. Yes.
Die Hard 2,
Yes.
Definitely. Yes.
Dick Tracy,
Yes.
Yes.
I saw that in
Al
theaters.
Pacino. I saw it
all
in
right,
theaters. too.
Driving Miss Daisy.
Yeah.
Never seen Drive.
Oh, Brody's out. Okay, you and me, Dylan.
Okay.
Back to the Future Part 3,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. God.
Presumed Innocent,
Yeah, I did see that. I cannot believe I did see that one as well. That's Harrison
all
Ford.
right, I don't believe you. Tell me who's in it.
Harrison Ford.
All right. Fine. You got Ford. All right. I'm out on the next one because and this is so embarrassing. Days of Thunder. I have not seen it.
Oh,
Oh,
even I've seen
wow.
Dave's of Thunder.
Yeah, dude.
So,
Oh,
all right, Dylan, you are the king of 1990 films.
hey.
I could have told you that before we started. I was going to say,
Well, if we kept going,
I would have said Charlie.
I do much better on the remainder. Man, this is like if you want to go on a nice little nostalgia trip, just keep reading down the list because I think after this, I don't get to another one that I haven't seen until like maybe like the 70s.
really?
So, yeah.
I don't know if I would keep.
Yeah.
I don't know how I would do. You probably would beat me like late as we kept
Oh
going.
no,
I'd probably
61.
miss-
The first power. I've never saw the first power.
First Power. I've never seen
Heard
that.
of that?
I don't even know what that is.
But Quickly Down Under, number 60. Bam, we all seen that
I
one.
love
Yeah,
Quickly
yeah.
Down Under.
Quickly Down Under. Yeah.
All right, so here's our mailbag question.
Okay.
Here's your assignment. You're given an assignment. You need to go in a time machine, back in time, to an era in history, and you need to be able to prove that you're a time traveler using only the information that you currently know about the future. You can't study, and you can't bring a device or any like books or encyclopedias. You can't bring any information back with you. You cannot go back to like and interact with yourself. So you can't like go find young Brody and be like, "I'm you. Look at me. We're the same." So you have to be able to prove it through knowledge of the future. Is there a time period that we could drop you in, and that your knowledge of history would allow you to be the prophet that would prove that time travel exists?
Gosh, that is a deep question. And so we
That is
have
a
to
deep question, and
select. We have to select the time period.
You got to select a time period. Like what's your best shot? Your best shot.
Gosh, I would say.
I'd have to go. Go ahead. Go ahead. Bro, go ahead.
No, you go first, Dylan.
I was going to be like this, like the sooner the better. Then it'd be fresh in my memory. Nobody is going to believe me either way. I would somehow completely sound insane. So I'm not good. No, I will do terrible at this. I'd be like, hey, it's all right. I'm from the future, and something or another. This is actually going to happen, and they're going to be like, that's going to happen. They're like, that's the least likely thing that could possibly happen. And I'm like, surprisingly, it does. You'll see, and it still will happen. And they'll be like, we still don't believe that you're from the future. You're so full of crap. We don't believe it at all. In fact, you're probably some kind of some sort of a deviant. We're going to arrest you is what we're going to do. You're a crazy person talking about the future. There's no possible way somebody's going to believe me.
Wait, so what
Even
decade?
if it was like 5 minutes in the past. Huh?
Five minutes in the
decade?
past.
You never
5
answered the
minutes.
question.
There is no decade. There's no decade. I could go 5 minutes in the past. I could go back to 1910 and be like, there's going to be talking movies in maybe 10 years or so, and they're going to be like, lock this crazy person up, put him up, put him up, and I'll be like, are you guys kidding me? And they're like, he doesn't even sound like us. He can't be a time traveler because he's an insane person. They would do this if I went back 5 minutes in time and I was like, hey, you're going to sneeze in 5 minutes. And they're going to be like, oh, you're a prognosticator? Go back into jail again. And I'm like, ugh. Either way, I would be sent to a loony bin. That's what would happen. It wouldn't matter when it is. I would need proof. People do not trust me, and part of me doesn't blame them.
So
I-
this question was sent. Sorry, go ahead, bro.
I was gonna
I'll
say-
tell you who sent the question in.
I might go back to like the 20s. I feel like the 20s, we were kind of at this really early stage of a lot of technologies. We were getting things like movies, stuff like that. And so if I could explain enough about what was going on, things like movies, and if I went back to like medieval times, then I think they would just kill me. I think if I went back to 20s, like people may kind of be open to that idea because they had movies like the moon one, like they were already dreaming about like the bullet in the eye of the moon. They were thinking
Maybe
about
like
that type of stuff. I don't remember what it's called, but I watched it. Very strange. So I don't know. I may be able to convince some people in the 20s, but yeah, once I get later, I was thinking maybe like the 70s, and I talk about Star Wars, but not sure if
So in the 20s, if they're like, oh, so you're from the future, who's the next president?
Yeah,
You got your
exactly.
your
Exactly.
1920s presidents like lined up.
Woodrow Wilson.
See, because I don't know those things the exact same thing. I was thinking, like, what if it was something that I actually knew? It's like, hey, like Pearl Harbor is about to happen. You guys should get ready. And they're like, were you part of this attack? And I'm like, no. And they're like, how do you
that
know
wasn't
this? And
until
I'm
the
like, I'm
40s.
from the future. I didn't say the 20s. Nobody said 20s. You said 20s.
I thought you said the 20s. I thought you said.
I didn't say that. Was you who said 20s. I said if I went back to something that I know is about to happen, like let's say Pearl Harbor. I was thinking 9/11, but I was like, that's a bit too close. And if I went back and I was like, look, listen, they're going to attack. You should prepare. They would not prepare, and then they'd be like, and then afterwards they'd be like, how did you know this was going to happen? And I'd be like, I'm from the future, huh? And they're like, you work with them, don't you? We are now really arresting you, and we're probably going to torture you as well. Let's figure out what other kind of attacks you know about. So I was just like, yeah, there's no good place for me to go where even if I knew about it in advance and I started telling them about it, they'd be like, yeah, you pulled this off, did you? And I'm like, with this.
Like in the 20s, we had the dawn of Disney. We had movies like Metropolis, right? We had these other technologies that were kind of like just coming out. I feel like I could speak
but
to those.
Without proof and evidence, at least me, would sound like an absolute crazy person if I was like, hey, we're going to have like. I could talk about all these that we have a phone that's actually a computer. They wouldn't believe anything that I would say.
How do you know
Charlie,
that?
what do you? Because what do you mean? How do I know it? Because I hear it myself, and even I don't believe it.
How do you know they wouldn't believe that? If I said I have a computer, I have a telephone that goes in my pocket, and it's like a computer, they wouldn't even know what a computer is.
They wouldn't know what a telephone is, and they'd be like, "You have one in your pocket. Really? Let's see this computer telephone."
They didn't have telephones in the 20s.
They had phones in houses.
On your pocket. They don't have pocket telephones.
I don't know.
I could be like, hey, you know your pocket watch right there? We actually have wristwatches. I don't have one, but
do I get to bring my smartwatch? Does it come with me?
No. This is straight.
How am I showing up? Am I showing up Terminator style? I'm just like showing up in a ball of energy, butt naked.
Yep. Oh yeah.
You are being beamed into a cornfield in the middle of nowhere, but you are fully clothed. You have no money to your name.
But I don't get my watch.
You don't get your watch. You don't get your ID. You're just a nameless, faithless drifter.
Not even an ID. We're like a drifter. Oh, they definitely aren't going to believe
it. Drifter. All right. So the best thing that I could come up with, because I'm with you, Dylan. If you try too quickly to announce some kind of disaster, and then it happens, then there's no coming back. You're like, okay, you're part of the
conspirator.
The only way you could possibly know this is if you help plan it. For that, whether you're trying to prevent Kennedy's assassination, which, by the way, this question was sent in by Stephen King, who wrote a novel which was turned into a television show, The 11/22/63, about James Franco going back in time to try to stop the JFK assassination. He was not, however, trying to prove he was a time traveler. Perhaps he should have been. It might have been more successful than. Well, anyway. But I would do it with sports gambling. Now, I have enough memorized about sports trivia that I could, if I went back into like the 70s, I could get World Series winner after World Series winner after World Series winner after World Series winner. I would know enough about who won the NBA Finals that I could just make a lot of money just gambling, and I could amass a fortune. And with my fortune, I could start buying stock as soon as it appeared in companies that I knew were going to be successful, and I could turn myself into a billionaire through a complete and total foreknowledge of sports activity. I could biff my way. Biff my way Back to the Future style to become a mogul.
So you're not going back to convince anybody. You're just going back to take advantage of the future knowledge.
Oh no. I need to establish an unexplainable streak of success of future prediction. So then I can say I'm a time. The reason why I've been able to pick the World Series winner, 14 years in a row. I did skip 1 year because I couldn't remember who won in '76. Whatever. Or actually I do remember one, but it doesn't matter. Whatever year. And and then at some point, but then you have to start to wonder: are you going to change the future through your predictions? If you become so good at predicting the outcomes of things, at some point, do you predict something that then changes the way? So maybe there's in sports, like maybe there's a team that's on the bubble that tries to stay competitive, but then you announce after predicting the World Series winner 20 years in a row that the Dodgers are winning in '88. And so some other teams like, well, then we're not even going to try this year. So they trade a player to a team that didn't have that player before, and now suddenly it's a new future. Things could start to change. So there's a window. There is a window where I'd have to have enough success quickly enough and build up an empire enough, buy a few of my own newspapers and magazines so I can control the narrative, perhaps a TV station, and then go on there and declare to the world that, yes, I am the future. And in this envelope, I've written out the lyrics to a song that will be called Bye 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 by Backstreet Boys that will be debuting in the 1990s. And I'm sealing this envelope and locking it in a vault. Geraldo Rivera comes out.
Now, I don't know why I did not see this coming. He's got like 15 years worth of time in order to not just prove his case, but also benefit from it. Whereas you and I, bro, are like, hey, we're from the future. We're in a freaking asylum right now. Why isn't anybody believe us?
True. Meanwhile, he's a billionaire.
He's playing the long game. Charlie's playing the long game.
Open up the safe, and like the banker guy pulls it out, and he opens up an envelope, and it says, Jar Jar Binks.
Oh.
It's like, he couldn't have known. How did he know? It simply says Misa Jar Jar Binks. What does it mean? He's from the future, folks.
See, now I'm like, okay, so what do I have enough knowledge about? Like wrestling,
baby.
Books. I don't think I could do that. I think that would work.
Even movies, I'd be like, I haven't looked at the Academy Awards in so long. I would have to be around, I'd have to be time traveling for 20 years. I'm like, okay. I think this is when Marlon Brando wins for The Godfather.
Now, my plan is, of course, also relying on a flawless memory of 70s and 80s baseball trivia, which I feel pretty confident about in a Sporkle quiz where I can get more than one answer wrong. But hopefully it doesn't backfire because this guy's got a 60% hit rate. He's pretty good. It's a far cry from no. I'm from the future. Trust me. Lyndon B. Johnson.
You also have one guess a year.
Yeah.
It is the long game.
Watergate.
It's
how did he know? He's from the future.
Wow. Sooner or later, even still, they would lock you up. They'd be like, wait a minute, what do you mean?
Who's this random Charlie guy that got a piece of the action figure money from Star Wars the movie by investing in it? How did he know?
Absolutely. Oh. See, I could have done that with Disney if I went back to.
Yeah, you just start investing in Disney films.
And then 10 years later, the comic books really start.
Yeah, you're on a time crunch because you're between World War I and World War II, and you want to get out before World War II. I think.
I do.
Yeah,
probably.
I do.
Bro, hey, you could change the whole world before World War II. You could just walk up and kill a young Hitler, and no one would even know.
Bro, would you turn instead of Bruce Wayne? It would be Brody Wayne.
Ooh, there you go. I just show up to Bob Kane and Bill Finger's office, and I'm like, so the name Bruce, little weak. Now Brody.
Let
me tell you, in 100 years from now, no one's gonna be. There's gonna be a Jim Carrey movie called Bruce Almighty. We don't want to be associated with that.
Oh.
Brody.
Terrible. Brody Wayne.
Brody Wayne.
Batman.
All right. Well, that was a fun question, Charlie. That was tough. That was hard. I thought this was going to be an easy, what's your favorite movie?
Brody, I want you to write a short story about you going back into the 1920s and trying to talk to people about being a time traveler. I want to read that short story. And I want you to write one about Dylan going back into the 50s and trying to explain to people that he's from the future.
From the future, everybody. And they're like, oh, we've got just the place to put you. And I'm like, is it Hollywood? And they're like, no.
James Dean, I know what happens to him.
Hey, don't go on this trip. And he's like, oh, the psychopath again.
Yeah, I don't know when, buddy, but you are gonna die at some point in a car, so maybe just don't drive. Like maybe just walk a lot, James. I'm sorry, I don't know when it's gonna happen.
That's it.
Well, hey, remember, this is sorry to the Dean family. Too soon for
Too soon.
James,
Too soon.
too soon for James Dean jokes. At any rate, this is your annual reminder to maybe brush up on some of your country's history or the world history, so that in case you ever become a time traveler and need to prove that you are indeed from the future, that you have the ability to do that.
I do not.
And send us your questions. If you've got a crazy question like that, send it to us. talktalkpunch@gmail.com. Maybe it'll get listed out. Also, I said Woodrow Wilson as the president. He was the president from 1913 to 19. I was not that far off. Dylan laughed
But
when
you were
I said that.
Yeah, I did
Far
laugh,
off
and
enough
I'm
to not
still
be a
laughing.
time traveler, I think.
If you go back to the 1920s and say Woodrow Wilson, they'll be like, did you come from the past?
I'm
Great.
just
Well,
saying.
he's gonna be nominated. That's fantastic. He's been nominated 10 years ago. Thanks a lot, bro. Thanks a lot, Bruce.
There's going to be 2 different Roosevelts. Mark my words, 2 different Roosevelts.
All right. Well. Okay. Charlie. Oh,
We don't
Yeah,
we don't talk enough presidents from the early 1920s.
true.
All right, so hey, Ed, save some lives in Die Hard 3, knowing Chester A. Arthur. So
Yeah.
he was also not president in the 20s, but I don't think.
Coolidge. I would need to know Coolidge or Hoover.
Hoover, the vacuum cleaner.
Hoover.
Hoover.
Damn.
Yeah.
Herbert
Or
Hoover.
Calvin Coolidge. Either one. All right.
Only
Charlie, go ahead and wrap us up. Let's get out of here. Let's give these people back their lives.
All right. Thank you so much for sticking with us. We'd love to know what era of time would you travel to, and how would you prove you're a time traveler? And let us know your favorite movie, the year 1990. So we can, and let us know what you think of the Superman suit. So you have a lot of assignments in the comments today. So
many.
hit us up. We'll see you next time.
See you later,
Bye, travelers.
travelers.